Good day everyone, this is our video presentation about regulation of body fluids.
Overview. Animals and plants must carefully manage their body fluids in order to preserve balance. Animals use particular organs like kidneys and lungs to regulate water and salt balance, adjusting to changing environments through mechanisms such as urine production and sweating. Plants take water largely through their roots and lose it through transpiration, which is regulated by the opening and closing of stomata. They also have adaptations such as waxy cuticle to reduce water loss.
Importance of fluid regulation. Importance in plants. Plants need to carefully control their water levels for two main reasons. First, staying strong. Water inside plant cells creates pressure called the turgor pressure. This pressure helps plants stand up straight and strong, like a balloon filled with air. Second is getting food. Water is also how plants get nutrients from the soil. Water carries these important nutrients to all parts of the plant, helping it grow. In animals, think of your body like a giant city. Fluids, like water, are the roads that transport everything: food, oxygen, and even trash. Fluid regulation is like traffic control, making sure everything moves smoothly. Blood pressure. Fluids keep the right amount of pressure in the roads so the cars or the blood cells can travel efficiently. Nutrients. Fluids deliver food or the nutrients to all the buildings or cells in the city. Waste. Fluids collect trash or the waste from the buildings and take it out of the city. The circulatory systems serve as the primary transportation network for fluids throughout the body. It facilitates the delivery of nutrients and oxygen to cells, while simultaneously removing waste product. Why do we need to regulate body fluids? Our bodies need to carefully control fluids for several important reasons. Muscle and nerve function. Fluids help muscles and nerves work properly, like sending signals to move your arms or feel a touch. Heart health. Fluids help keep your heart beating at a steady pace and maintain stable blood pressure, preventing problems like irregular heartbeats or high blood pressure. Bone and teeth. Fluids help keep your bones and teeth strong and healthy.
So how do plants and animals regulate body fluids? Plants and animals have developed specialized mechanisms to control body fluids, which are essential for their survival in a dynamic environment. This process, called homeostasis, ensures the maintenance of a stable internal environment despite external changes. Let's explore how plants and animals achieve this balance. We have the process called osmoregulation. Osmoregulation is the process of regulating the osmotic pressure and electrolytic balance in organisms. There are two types of osmoregulation: osmoconformers and osmoregulators. Osmoconformers are organisms living in the marine environment and are capable of maintaining the internal environment, which is isosmotic to their outside environment. Marine invertebrates such as jellyfish, sea sponges, and sea stars, along with cartilaginous fish like sharks and rays, are examples of osmoconformers. These organisms don't actively control the concentration of solutes in their body fluids. Instead, they let their internal conditions align with the external environment. Osmoregulators are organisms that actively regulate their internal osmotic pressure independent of the surrounding environment. For example, freshwater fish like salmon regulate their internal salt concentration by absorbing salt from the surrounding water and excreting large amounts of diluted urine. Osmoregulation in plants. Plants use stomata on the lower side of their leaves to regulate water loss. Plants growing in hydrated soils compensate water loss by transpiration by absorbing more water from the soil. The plants that grow in semi-arid areas store water in the vacuoles and have thick and fleshy cuticles to prevent water loss. Stomata, guard cells, cuticle, and root system all play important roles in maintaining water and ion balance in plants. We have stomata. Stomata is a tiny pores on plant at the back of the leaves that allow for gas exchange, including water vapor, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. Guard cells. They control the opening and closing of the stomata to regulate gas exchange and water loss. Cuticle is a waxy, waterproof layer that covers the outer surface of leaves, stems, and other aerial plants parts. Root system is the underground part of a plant that holds the plant firmly in the soil, absorbs water and nutrients from the soil, and can store food for the plants. Example for this is a carrot. Fluid transport systems in plants. We have phloem, is a living tissue in the vascular plants that transports the soluble organic compounds made during photosynthesis. We also have xylem, responsible for the transporting water and nutrients from roots to stems and leaves. Hormones. Abscisic acid is a hormone that helps plant conserve water by closing stomata and stimulating root growth. Cytokinins are plant hormones that facilitate cell division and play key roles in several processes, including shoot and root development, leaf senescence, and nutrient transport.
Osmosis is the movement of water molecules from a solution with a high concentration of water molecules to a solution with a lower concentration of water molecules through a cell partially permeable membrane. Turgor pressure is the force within the cell that pushes the plasma membrane against the cell wall. It is also called hydrostatic pressure and is defined as the pressure in a fluid measured at a certain point within itself when at equilibrium. A pair of guard cells surround each stoma, and these cells control the opening and closing of the stomatal pore between them. Guard cells regulate this opening and closing in response to a wide variety of environmental signals such as day-night rhythms, CO2 availability, and temperature.
Osmoregulation in animals. Animals regulate their bodily fluids or osmoregulate continuously to maintain a stable internal environment. This process is essential for survival and involves several key functions. For example, when feeding, animals ingest water and electrolytes through food, but they also need to excrete excess water and electrolytes through urine, feces, and even breathing. When breathing, animals lose water through evaporation when they breathe in oxygen. When lactating, female mammals excrete water and electrolytes through milk, which must be replenished to avoid dehydration. When exposed to different environments, animals must discharge water in hypotonic environments and take in water in hypertonic environments to prevent dehydration. Osmoregulation is important for a number of reasons, including organ perfusion, ensuring adequate organ perfusion. This means that proper fluid balance ensures the efficient delivery of oxygen and nutrients to organs. Thermoregulation. Maintaining proper thermoregulation means that maintaining internal temperature balance is influenced by proper hydration and electrolyte regulation. Number 3 would be excretion of toxic waste. Excreting toxic waste and other substances that will be toxic if allowed to accumulate in the blood. And number 4 is electrolyte balance, maintaining electrolyte balance. In simpler terms, osmoregulation helps maintain the right levels of electrolytes like sodium and potassium, which are vital for nerve function and muscle contraction. In conclusion, osmoregulation ensures that animals can survive in diverse environments by maintaining fluid and electrolyte balance, supporting essential processes like organ function, temperature control, and waste elimination. The body requires a particular volume of fluid to function normally. Most of the fluids ingested through drinking or eating are excreted by the kidneys to ensure the body doesn't have too much fluid, which is fluid overload, or too little, which is dehydration. To put it simply, this balance is crucial for maintaining a proper cellular function and overall health. The hypothalamus is a central controller of body fluid regulation and receives input from the digestive tract to help control thirst. Furthermore, it detects changes in the body's hydration status and triggers thirst when necessary. Additionally, the hypothalamus produces antidiuretic hormone, which regulates body fluid volume and extracellular osmosis, which ensures the correct balance of water and electrolytes in the body's cells. Moving on to the lungs. The lungs are important for gas exchange, but they also play an important role in water balance, particularly in humidity management and evaporation. It maintains the balance of water and electrolytes required for optimum physiological function. During respiration, water vapor is lost through exhalation, and this helps regulate the body's overall fluid balance. Now, let's go to the skin. The skin acts as a barrier and regulates body fluids in a variety of ways, particularly as a barrier to water loss and in temperature regulation. Sweating helps control body temperature and fluid balance. Sweating evaporates from the skin surface, cooling the body, but it also causes fluid loss, which must be compensated for by proper hydration and renal function to maintain overall fluid balance. To explain this a bit further, the sweat glands in the skin release sweat, which helps cool the body while also excreting excess salts and small amounts of waste products. So I guess that's why our sweat is a bit salty, I guess? The skin's waterproof barrier helps prevent excessive water loss, particularly in dry and arid environments, and plays a key role in maintaining fluid homeostasis.
So there are two types of fluids involved in osmoregulation in animals. First was the intracellular. This is the fluid found inside cells. It makes up the majority of the total body water. It's important for many cellular processes like metabolism and cell signaling. And the second one was the extracellular. This is the fluid found outside cells. It transports nutrients, oxygen, and hormones to cells and remove waste products. So for the summary of our report, this presentation focuses on the regulation of body fluids in plants and animals, focusing on the importance of maintaining balance for essential functions. Using stomata, guard cells, and xylem, plants use processes including osmosis, stomata regulation, and water storage to manage fluids. Water conservation is aided by hormones such as abscisic acid, and structural integrity is preserved by turgor pressure. Osmoregulation is the process by which animals balance water electrolytes through kidney function, sweating, and lung activity. The kidneys and the hypothalamus are important organs that maintain elimination of wastewater material, temperature regulation, and hydration. Fluids both within and outside of cells facilitate cellular functions and the movement of nutrients. That's all, and thank you for listening. This is the presentation of Group 5.